Hello, and thank you for joining me for this, the third episode of the LittleAutisticMe Podcast. My name is David and I am a late diagnosed autistic male. My intention for today was to talk about support services, and in a way I will be doing that. I feel though that this episode should perhaps be called something like Inaccessibility in the NHS, or is there actually any support available? As I said in episode 2, I was referred for my autism assessment by my GP. When I received my diagnosis report, I was told that a copy would be sent to my GP. Great, I thought, that'll save me a job. I actually expected that somebody from the surgery would be in touch with me to discuss my diagnosis and maybe offer me help. Oh, how wrong I was. I waited for quite some time and then I contacted my surgery by email. I explained that I had received my diagnosis and asked what I should do next. I received a reply which pretty much stated that I didn't need to do anything, but I should make an appointment if I had any specific medical issues to discuss. I felt quite dismayed by this. I had just found out that many of the issues I had over the years were an indication that I'm autistic. Most of these issues hadn't been treated because I wasn't old enough for them to be a concern, and now I have to seek help for them all over again. Yep, still lost. In my email to the surgery, I had explained a few problems that I had in terms of accessing their services. Specifically, I mentioned having to call to make appointments or to request prescriptions, and I stated that I had problems arranging follow-up appointments because I didn't know when or how to do so. I explained that I needed specific instructions. I also talked about an issue that I had encountered a few times, that of misunderstanding questions leading to a lack of treatment. I gave an example of a recent interaction with a doctor from the surgery in which she asked me, "Have you been experiencing bladder issues recently?" To which I replied, "No more than usual." I informed the receptionist that I have always had bladder issues, and therefore I didn't realise that the doctor meant worse bladder issues. The receptionist at least acknowledged these issues and stated that she would add some notes to my record with a view to making things easier for me. She told me that I could order medication by email or using the NHS app or the MyGP app. I was so happy that something was being done to help me that I didn't realise that she had skipped over the making appointments issue. It so happened that I was having trouble with panic attacks at the point of falling asleep, and so I made an appointment to discuss this and hopefully get a solution. I did this by email at the same time as ordering a prescription. Upon being seen by my GP, I explained to him about the sleep issue and mentioned being autistic. To my surprise, his response was, "You're autistic?" And I thought, here we go. I answered yes, and he asked, "Who diagnosed you?" I was absolutely shocked. I explained that a GP from the practice had referred me to a single point of access, and that I had my assessment with the Blackpool Primary Intermediate Mental Health team. I also told him that they were supposed to send the report to him to be added to my record, and that the receptionist was supposed to have added notes regarding adjustments too, and he just said, "All right," because some people get assessments from private companies and that can be a problem. I didn't even know how to respond to that. The next time I tried to make an appointment by email, however, I was told that this couldn't be done. The person who replied on this occasion told me that I would have to phone or visit the surgery to make an appointment. I proceeded to explain that I am autistic and neither of these methods are suitable for me. To which came the response, "Sorry, but we can't make appointments by email." I really don't understand why they have to make it so difficult. Clearly they can make appointments by email because somebody allowed me to do it before. Sadly, this is not just a problem for me. I have been involved in one conversation in social media where the poster had the exact same problem, and I have seen several more. Why can't they just fix this? I would really expect that such accommodations would be met within a healthcare establishment. Surely they of all people should understand how important it is for a person's needs to be accommodated. I would like to point out that I have a massive amount of respect for the NHS. Generally, they are fantastic and they do a really good job, but this is something that they really need to do better with. I also wanted to talk about the issues that I have had when trying to arrange appointments by calling the surgery. I tried for over a week to get an appointment for something which was really troubling me. Every time I called, I was told that there were no appointments left for that day. I eventually asked if I could make an appointment for another day and was told that they only arrange same-day appointments by phone and that I would have to call at 9 AM the next day. I explained to the receptionist that I am an insomniac. I told her that I don't tend to fall asleep until around 6 or 7 AM and that I can't force myself to stay awake any longer. Her response was, "Oh bless." I found this disgusting, highly inappropriate and extremely unprofessional. She continued to tell me that I could arrange an appointment for a different day by visiting the surgery. This is absurd. Why can't they just make it work for me? Especially at a time when they were telling us to avoid going to the surgery unless it was absolutely essential because of COVID. To be fair though, I have found that many other companies, upon being told that I am autistic, have done their best to accommodate me. I know that this is not the case for everyone with disabilities. I am aware that many wheelchair users cannot access services because of a lack of ramps or lifts, and I have heard of blind people being refused entry to venues because they have their guide dogs with them. I fail to see how anyone can find this even remotely acceptable. I think it is absolutely disgusting. Those of us who have disabilities deserve better. We should be able to access services without issue, or at least with a minimum of fuss. And one day, hopefully soon, we will get there. Finally, I would like to talk about the service offered by the council where we are entitled to a care assessment. This is where the councils assess our needs and provide funding for a carer to help us with, whatever we need help with. I had researched this just before receiving a follow-up call from the primary intermediate mental health team. When I received this call, I was asked if there was anything they could help with. I explained that I felt I would benefit from having access to a carer. There are some areas of my life which could be greatly improved by someone helping me to do the things I can't. I was told that a referral to this service would be made on my behalf. That was nearly a year ago and I have still heard nothing. I am aware that I should probably chase this up, but we all know how that one goes. In a year's time I will probably still be debating making that call. I genuinely hope that other people have found it easier to access support services than I have, but I really doubt it. It should not be this difficult to get help to live a normal life, or as close to as we possibly can. By talking about all of this, I hope to raise awareness of the struggles that we as disabled people face. It is difficult. It takes so much energy just to get through the day, and it is so frustrating knowing that it could all be made a bit easier by someone else making a simple change. I really wish I had more strength to fight the system, but the truth is that I am completely worn down by it. But anyway, on a happier note, it's nearly bedtime for me and I am so tired that I might actually get some sleep tonight. You have to take your wins where you find them. So thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to be notified of future episodes. If you are enjoying this podcast or finding it useful, then please feel free to make a donation at ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/LittleAutisticMe. You can find me on the social media sites. My former Twitter /now X handle is @AutisticForum, and on Blue Sky and Facebook, search for Little Autistic Me.